All right, so the only way y'all will remember this is if I give a really good speech or a really, really bad speech. So it's my goal to give you the most mediocre best man speech ever so that no one can remember it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Levi and I'm Justin's younger brother. And it's an honor to be the best man. When I thought of the term best man, I likened it to the term best friend. And how fitting this is, because I can remember when we were growing up, how Mom would always scold me. She would say, Levi, don't pick on Justin, he's your best friend. And today, I see how true that is. You see, Justin and I have always done everything together. We have lots of memories. Hours of playing ball in the yard, swimming in the pond, looking through football cards, creating the best teams on Madden, helping Dad renovate the house, helping Mom with the yard work, to running together, biking together, all the way across Michigan. And Beckner was there too. Even washing dishes, or cutting firewood, riding to and from school, or cheering on the Bengals, even though I'm skeptical you like the Browns more than the Bengals. But my point is, we did literally almost everything together. So naturally, we had our arguments and fights. And since I'm the younger brother that I am, most of these fights were instigated by me. My favorite thing to do is to see how far I could push him until I got a response out of him. And the compassion and patience that Justin always showed towards me was undeserved. Another thing I've always admired about Justin is his rational thinking and logical planning. He always has a reason for what he is doing and can make wise judgment calls. When I got to this point in writing my speech, Colossians chapter 3 came to mind. I think it sums up so well the example that Justin shows me and shows those around him. So Paul writes, beginning in verse 12, quote, "Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other. As the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. And above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you are called in one body. And be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him." End quote. It truly means a lot to have a big brother who has set such a godly example. So should I keep going and read verse 18? Quote, "Wives, submit to your husbands, as is fitting in the Lord." End quote. Kind of a strange verse to bring up right now, right? But I just want to say, if there's anyone I would ever want to submit to, it would be Justin, because of the way that he walks in holiness. Natalie, you married one of the best men I know. So now I'm obligated to read verse 19.
Yes, I was going to say.
Quote, "Husbands, love your wives, and do not be harsh with them." End quote. I remember... Is that a bad way to start? I remember when Justin told me he was going on a date with Natalie. I remember, well, before that, it started out, Justin calls me up. He's like, "Are you in your dorm room?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I need to tell you something." I'm like, "Okay." And then he comes in, and he tells me that he's going on a date with Natalie. And it hit me completely out of the blue. Because you see, for years, I tried to play matchmaker for Justin, or at least figure out who he liked, right? But I never got any satisfaction out of that whatsoever. Because he never showed any interest to anyone. So deep down, I knew that the first person he would date, that she would get that ring. And I was right. Now, I had no idea that it would come this fast. But I should have known. Like father, like son, right? All joking aside, Natalie, Justin has loved you, his wife, since long before he ever knew you.
Yeah.
Let me begin to wrap this up. I don't think I was given a time limit, but I'm over. With a charge from Paul, continuing in verse 23 and 24. He says, quote, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." End quote. So together, serve the Lord and glorify Him by the way you treat each other. Justin, again, I am honored to be your best man. And as far as the term best friend goes, I think I officially lost that term today. But I'm so thankful to have a sister
Sweet.
as nice as Natalie. Thank you. Congratulations.